would never think it'd be possible, right, that a conglomerate of intelligence agencies and states, some of which include the NSA and CIA, not to mention the American government in collaboration with the Danish and British and their intelligence agencies, and they are now, as anybody can see, they are running non-stop 365-day year psychological operations against me, Stephen Bell, to huge portions of the world. In these virtual movie fabrications and propaganda campaigns, I'm being accused of everything under the sun. They are labeling me guilty for the most serious criminal offences you can imagine. I'm being proclaimed as engaging in all sorts of depravity all the time. I'm being proclaimed as being this punk that you can just mess with and nothing happens. I have supposedly been kidnapped and been trapped in a basement, and all sorts of things have been done to me according to this conglomerate of intelligence agencies and states. None of it is true. I have supposedly all my life been a punk, which anybody can beat up on or what have you, or say all sorts of nasty shit without there being any repercussions. Someone that you can just steal from, someone completely insignificant. I'm apparently so incompetent that I can't even tie my own shoelaces, and the list goes on and on and on of all the things that I supposedly am. And the only reason that I am that I act and look and the way I am now is because I have supposedly I'm trying to reinvent myself. Not that I have ever, not because I have always been ready for a fight and always could handle my own without need for anybody to back me up in those regards, for me to be able to react appropriately to any given situation, and yet I'm trying to reinvent myself, because I have never been into training in my life. I have never been into martial arts. I have never been into racing. Yeah, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's funny to me, if I'm so incompetent, yeah, why on earth can't this conglomerate of intelligence agencies and states get rid of me? I'm like Fidel Castro. They have tried so many attempts, not through soft power, not assassinations attempts just yet, but they have tried everything using their soft power and psychological operations to have me locked up in a mental institution, or have me set up to have me set up to go to prison in so many different ways in this entire lifespan of the program, and none of it has ever succeeded. Instead, I have gradually gotten something out of life, despite this completely insane situation, which I'm obviously referring to, that I'm driving my own car, that I'm on the verge of wanting to buy my own place. I have a small business which is, despite everything, is doing well and has lots of interest, and I'm being held back. 90% of my sales are literally being held back, and the rest of the 10%, the state here in Denmark and its intelligence agency, PET, through the use of this synthetic global communication system, are endlessly coercing people to create false complaints and all sorts of nonsense, and yet I'm still here. But that's despite how pathetic a punk I am, supposedly. See, things just don't add up in real life versus this never-ending fucking snowflake bullshit, which is the program's propaganda and endless PSYOPS. It's so fake. There is no words to describe how absolutely pathetic and useless their propaganda is. The only reasons why it's having any kind of effect is because they are keeping me completely completely isolated, and nobody's allowed to speak to me. I'm being nobody's allowed to, as I say, buy my wares 90% of the time, and and nobody's allowed to comment on my posts anymore. Nothing. I'm being completely shadow banned and banned outright on all social media, and yet they're claiming that I'm nowhere to be found. I'm literally lying in some corner somewhere, crying my eyes out. I have completely given up, apparently, and yet, you see, none of this is actually true. The program's propaganda, their never-ending accusations and extraordinary claims against me, Stephen Bell, are completely false and fabricated. And that is why they have so many restrictions on people finding out for themselves what I am, what kind of person I am in real life, what I have to say. People are not allowed to receive any other information than what is being perpetuated by this conglomerate of intelligence agencies and states, and that's literally this case continuously.